Hi, Savia. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Vijay. I'm fine and thanks for asking. And how about you?
Yeah, I'm fine. Can you please turn on your camera, Savia?
Okay, Vijay. I think it's visible to you, right?
Yes.
Oh,
Okay. Yeah, tell me about yourself.
okay, Vijay. Myself, Travya, and I'm having overall 3 years of experience on DevOps tools. Past 3 years, I'm working in Tech Mahindra as a DevOps engineer. Well, coming to my education qualifications, I have completed my graduation from JNT College of Engineering, Anantapur. Well, coming to my skill set, hands-on experience in Linux, proven experience on Git, build tool Maven. I'm good at Jenkins, and Jenkins is automation tool for continuous integration and delivery. Hands-on experience on shell script. I have good knowledge on monitoring tools like Prometheus and Grafana, and hands-on experience on creating EC2 instance in AWS cloud environment. I'm good at Docker. It is a virtualization and containerization tool. And coming to my roles and responsibilities, I involved in resolving Git-related issues when developer had an issues, designing, creating, maintaining Git repositories as per client specifications. And I'm creating jobs in Jenkins and set up global permissions and scheduling jobs. Building continuous integration environment in Jenkins. Launching and configuration of Amazon EC2 cloud service using AMIs and configuring the servers for specified applications. And creating elastic IPs, attaching and detaching to instances as per client request. And I'm experienced in writing Docker files to build customized image for creating containers. Work with the Maven build tool for continuous building deployable artifacts. And I perform tasks such as check-in, check-out, and merging code from development branch to main branch and main branch to development branches. And enabling Sonar quality gates for the modules of the project to maintain code quality. And simply this is about my profile, Vijay.
Okay. Your experience in Git, right?
Yeah, Vijay.
Okay. Can you please rate your familiarity with Git on a scale of 1 to 5?
I can rate myself as 4 on Git.
Okay. Can you please explain which branching strategy you are using?
Okay. We are using feature branching strategy. And in this master branch and integration branches or long-lived branches. And master always points to the production commits. The total code is available in integration. And if I want to change features, I can create a branch from integration. And while developing for every commit, we are developing CI/CD and tracking whether CI/CD is successful in development or not. When it is successful in development, then the developer raising a PR request. When raising PR also, we are putting some conditions to check whether the code is successful in development or not. And if it is success, then only I can raise PR. And after raising PR, everyone checking changes and approving to merge it. So then the commits which are moved to integration are checked and tested in all environments like QA, pre-prod, performance. So and if all these are successful, then moving to the production deployment. And also in production, we are checking whether the code is success in development or not, and also checking QA, pre-prod and performance. If it is success, then only CI/CD moving forward. Otherwise, it stops there only. And once it is success in prod, master tip points to that commit. So we point the tip and tag it as V1. I mean version 1.0 or something. And in future, if we created version 2.0, I mean V 2.0, so we can check whether V 1.1, version 1.2, 1.2, 1.3 or developed under which stage we can easily refer. So, and by doing this, if we face any conflicts and whatever the conflicts I'll get, I'll clear all those conflicts. Then I can push back into integration branch and I can release a login or sign up module, whatever for the client requirement. That's it, Vijay.
Okay. Sounds good. You mentioned that you are Git conflicts, right?
Yes.
Can you please tell me the what kind of conflicts you are getting, how to resolve them?
Okay. In Git, we know that a conflict occurs when two or more users make changes to the same file or lines of code and then try to match those changes together. So, in that case, Git is unable to automatically match the changes and requires the user to manually resolve the conflicts. So, to resolve these conflicts, we first what should we do means we check Git status. I mean, in which files we have the conflicts. So after opening the files, the conflicts located with the we have the conflicts markers there. So we can edit the files and remove the conflicts marker and manually match the changes as needed. And I can save the file by using git add file name to mark the file as resolved. So then once all these conflicts has been resolved, I can use git commit to commit the changes. And one more important here is the conflicts can be complex, right? So it may require the communication and collaboration with our teammates to resolve. So therefore, it should be important to have a good communication and collaboration practice when we're working with a Git. So that T support is very needed in this. I mean, in this concern to resolve the conflicts.
Yeah, okay, Savya. May I know how you are familiar with Jenkins on a scale of 1 to 5?
Jenkins, I can rate myself as 4, Vijay.
Yeah, okay. Can you please explain what is the CI/CD? Brief about that.
Okay, sure. And CI/CD stands for Continuous Integration and Continuous Delivery or Deployment. It is a software development methodology that aims to automate the process of building, testing, and deploying software changes. And continuous integration is the practice of frequently and automatically merging code changes from multiple developers into a single shared repository, whether it is a Git or whatever the repository they use. And this allows the developers to catch and fix errors early in the development lifecycle and reducing the likelihood of conflicts and integration issues later on. And continuous in delivery or deployment is the practice of automating the deployment process to make faster and more reliable. And here, this includes the tasks such as building, testing, and packaging the software, as well as deploying into production environment. And with CD, developers can rapidly release new features and bug fixes to users with a minimal downtime and risk. So simply saying that CI/CD creates a development pipeline, and that can help the team to deliver high quality software faster and more frequently compared to recent ones.
Okay, good. Do you have knowledge on writing Jenkins file?
Yeah, Vijay.
Okay. Can you share your screen and write the sample Jenkins file and explain?
Okay, sure. One second, let me share my screen.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, okay, pipeline, and I can use agent as any and stages. I mean that includes stage as build. And I'll include the steps. And in that steps, I'll include the command as sh mvn clean install. Then I'll take another stage. Let me copy this to make it faster. In second stage, I'll include the test. And in steps, I'll include sh mvn. I'll use here command as test to test the requirement. Then I'll go to deploy. In deploy, I'll put some condition. When my branch is master. When branch is master, Then I can use steps sh mv and deploy. And after performing this, I'll use the post build steps. I use always, and I'll append sh echo pipeline completed. Then I'll include success when pipeline is succeeded, and I'll include failure when the pipeline is failure. This is the simple file, Vijay, and here the pipeline
Okay.
is means it can define the entire Jenkins file, and I'm using taking agent any, and this is specifies the I mean it can specify the pipeline that can be available with any Jenkins agent, and here I included the stages, right? So the stages is defines the different stages in the pipeline, and here stage build in the sense means uh, uh, I mean so it can build the I mean it can build here we mentioned the steps, right? So in the steps I mentioned this mv and clean install, right? So once build is performed, it can install the maven packages, and here I include the stage test, right? So here the stage refers to it defines the steps to be executed in the test. So it runs the mv and test command to run the project unit test, and I included deploy means um, it is the third stage of the pipeline, and I mentioned it as the deploy, and here I mentioned when the branch master in the sense means the deploy state should only be executed when changes are made to the master branch. So if there is any changes to the master branch, then only the deployment will be happen. And then I include the steps like shmv and deploy. So it will deploy. It is a third pipeline and it can deploy. And here I included the steps like post actions, right? So here post means this can deploy the post build actions to be executed after the pipeline is completed. And always in the sense means here in always I put a condition echo pipeline is completed. In the sense means what it defines means is executed regardless of the pipeline outcome. I mean, so whatever the outcome is, whether it is failure or success, so it gives an message like pipeline completed. And I included success means it can executed when the pipeline is succeed only. And failure in the sense means so when the pipeline is failed, so it can echo a message like pipeline got failed. This is a simple file, Vijay.
Yeah. Okay. Kavya. How to schedule builds in Jenkins?
Okay. I mean, to schedule a jobs, to schedule a bills in a Jenkins, first, once logging to the Jenkins dashboard, I can choose the jobs which I want to schedule, and I can go to the configure. So, in a jobs configuration space, right? So, there we have an option to build triggers, right? So, there I can choose the option build periodically checkbox, right? So, I can choose that build periodically. Under that I can use the schedule text field and like entering the schedule for the build, and the schedule should I included in a cron top format, like we have the five fields separated by spaces, right? Like minutes, hours, day of the month, and day of week. Like for example, say to schedule a build, and I would like to run every day at 9 a.m. So there I'll enter as 0, 9, star, star, star. I mean, why 0, 9, asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. Why? Because to every day, 9 o'clock, it's need to be. So after that, I'll just save the configuration changes. And once if build is scheduled, and Jenkins will automatically trigger the job at the specified time. So I can view the build results in the jobs build history.
Okay. Have you experienced with Dockers?
Yes, I'm having the experience in Docker.
Yeah. Okay. What is Docker?
Okay. Docker is a tool that enables developers to package their applications and all of its dependencies into a single container, making it easier to run consistently across different environments. And it helps to resolve the problems of application dependencies and makes it easier to build, ship, and run applications. Vijay.
Okay, Shravya, what is the difference between add and copy?
In Dockerfile, add and copies are used to copy files from are used to copy files or directories from the host machine to the container file system. While they may similar and there may be some difference between these two commands, and we know that add can add what add should do means add can not only copying files and directories, but also it can download the files from URLs and extract or archives as well. And it has a more versatile functionality than copy. However, this versatility also comes with some caveats, I mean, such as potentially security risks. Uh, to examine this clearly, I'll give you an example like if you add a URL that points to a file that contains malicious code, and it will be executed during the build process while you use the add. And coming to copy, it is a simpler command that can only copy files and directories from the host to the container system. So my suggestion is it is safe option when you know exactly what files you want to copy. So my recommendation to use to it better to use copy whenever possible, and only use add when you need it additional functionality. Vijay.
Okay. What is the difference between entry point and CMD?
Entry point and CMD. Huh? Ha, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
In Docker file, both entry and CMD are used to define the commands that is run when container is started. And however, there are some key differences also there. Entry point used when defining the executable that should be run when the container starts, while CMD is used to provide arguments for that executable. The entry point specifies the binary or script that runs when the container starts and accepts command line arguments. And any arguments passed in the container run command will append to the entry point command. If both entry point and CMD are specified in the Docker file, the CMD will be treated as argument to the entry point. In other words, the CMD will be appended to the entry point command. And also there may be if there is entry point is not defined, then CMD will be treated as a default command to run when container starts. And finally we have if the entry point is defined with an absolute path, the CMD will be treated as arguments to the entry point. And if the entry point is defined with a command name or a shell script, the CMD will be treated as arguments. So to be simply Vijay, entry point specify the executable to run, while CMD specify the default arguments for that executable. Together, they define the command that is run when the container starts.
Okay. What is the Docker file, Shravya?
Okay, Docker files. Okay, Docker file is a
Yeah.
text file that contains set of instructions that can be used to build a Docker image. So it provides a simple and reproducible way to build Docker images, which can then be used to create containers. And in the Docker files also, it includes the commands like specify base image to build open and copy files from directories from the host machine to the container file system. And we can use the run commands inside the container, such as installing packages or config in the software. And also we can expose ports to allow communication with the container, and we can define entry point or default command to run whether the container starts. So simply using Docker files, developers can define and automate the process of building a Docker image. So by using this, it makes easier to create manage Docker containers and ensure that the containers are built in a consistent and reproducible way across all the different environments. Vijay.
Okay. Can you write one simple Docker file and explain it, Savia?
You want me to write a Docker file?
Yes.
Okay, one second. For the first, I'll use instruction as a from only, and I'll take image as Alpine latest version, and I use run to install the packages what I need. Run apk, these two packages, and I include specify the path by using working directory slash app, and app is the name that I chosen for my application, and then I copy by using copy instruction to host to destination, and then I install the packages by using run npm install, and I can expose my port on 3000, and I can start the app by using cmd npm by using the command start. Okay. This is a simple file, Vijay. So here I use the from is the first instruction that I need to, and I took the all-Paline as a base image, and then I use run apk update means what it do means it can install the Node.js and npm on the base image, and I use here work directory means I mean, I set the path to the working directory. And here I use a copy means it can copy the contents of the current directory into the app directory. Here I use app as a I just copy to the app directory. And I use run npm install means it can install the application dependency using a npm, and expose 3000 in the sense means I just expose my port on 3000, and this application uses communicate with the outside world. And last I used npm start in the means it can specify the command to run the container starts. In this case it runs the npm start command to start the application. So simply what this docker file will do means this builds the container that install Node.js and npm, and copies the application code into the container, and it can install the application dependencies and start the application on 3000 port.
Okay. How to go inside the running container, Savia? Explain about it.
Okay, and if you want to go inside of a Docker container, use a command, a Docker ex command. I mean
Mm-hmm.
Docker exe hyphen it, and here I'll give the container ID, and I'll go inside the container bash. So here first you run the docker ps so that you'll get a container ID. So then you can run the container ex hyphen it and paste that container ID, and enter the bash so that you can able to enter into the docker interactive terminal session. So if you want to go the some container, so you can you if you have a container name or a container ID, you can able to give both as well. That's it, Vijay.
Okay, Savia. Do you have experience in Kubernetes?
Yeah, Vijay, I'm having experience on Kubernetes as well.
Okay, can you explain Kubernetes architecture?
Kubernetes architecture. Huh? Okay.
Yeah,
Uh,
right.
Kubernetes, we know that Kubernetes is a container orchestration platform, and that automates the deployment, scaling, and management of containers application. And coming to the architecture, the main components includes the master node. What this master node means, this master node will control the plane of the Kubernetes cluster, and it can manage the overall state of the cluster and makes decisions about scheduling and scaling applications. And in this master node also we have several components as well. In that API server, What this API server will do means, I mean, it is a central management point of the Kubernetes cluster. It exposes the Kubernetes API, which allows users and other components to interact with the cluster. And then we have etcd. What is do means it is like a distributed key value, and that stores the configuration data for the cluster, and it is used to store the state of the cluster, including information about the nodes, services, and pods. And we have a man controller manager.
Yeah.
What it does means the control manager is responsible for maintaining the desired state of the cluster, and it includes controller of the nodes, replication, endpoints, and services. And apart from that, we have in a scheduler as well in a master node. What this scheduler will do means it is responsible for scheduling the deployment of applications and the nodes in the cluster. This is the master node first. And second, we have a node. What nodes will do means it is node is like a worker machine in the Kubernetes cluster that runs the containerization workloads. And each node has the container runtime such as Docker for running the containers, as well as the Kubernetes agent kubectl that communicates with the master node. And master node, then we have pod. What this pod will do means it is the smallest unit of the deployment Kubernetes, and it represents a single instance of a running process in the cluster. And a pod can contain one or more containers that share the same network and storage resources. And next we have service. I mean, it is an abstraction that defines the logical set of ports and a policy for accessing them. And it provides a stable IP address and DNS name for a set of ports, which allows clients to access the ports without knowing their individual IPs. And finally, we have volume. And a volume is a directory that is accessible to the containers in a pod, and it can be used to store data that needs to persist beyond the lifetime of a fraud. And so overall what I means to say means the Kubernetes cluster provides a highly scalable and flexible platform for running containerization applications. The master node manages the overall state of the cluster, and while node what will do mean while node runs the containerization workloads, pods will provide a single instance of a running process, and the services provides a stable IP address and DNS names for accessing the pods. And volumes provides a way of stored data that needs to persist beyond the lifetime of a pod.
Okay. What is the difference between Kubernetes and Docker Swarm?
Okay, Kubernetes and Docker Swarm both are containerization organization platform, which means they are used to manage and deploy containerization application. And however, there are differences is there. First is architecture. Just now I explained the Kubernetes architecture, right? So, while
Yeah, yeah.
coming to architecture, Kubernetes has more complex architecture than Docker Swarm. And Kubernetes consisting of several components, including API server, etcd, scheduler, controller manager, and work nodes, with work together to manage containers. And Docker Swarm, on the other hand, has a simpler architecture that is more tightly integrated. And there is a coming to the scalability also. Kubernetes is more scalable than Docker Swarm and is designed to manage clusters of hundreds or even thousands of nodes. And Kubernetes can scale applications horizontally by adding and removing nodes, while Docker Swarm has more limited scaling capability. And while comparing with the high availability also, Kubernetes has built-in support for high availability and can automatically recover from node failures. And Docker Swarm also has high availability features, but they are not as robust as Kubernetes. And when I compare to with the networking as well, Kubernetes has more advanced networking features than Docker Swarm, including service discovery and load balancing. Kubernetes also supports multiple network plugins while Docker has a single built-in network driven. And when so finally what I mean to say means Kubernetes is more complex and powerful container orchestration platform that is designed to manage large clusters of containers. And while Docker is a simple and more tightly integrated with the Docker, so making it good choice for smaller deployments are those already using the Docker.
Yeah. Okay, okay. Good, sir. Yeah.
Thank
Which
you.
cloud you are using?
I'm using AWS Cloud.
Okay. How can you rate yourself on AWS on a scale of 1 to 5?
In AWS, I haven't used all the services, but I used limited service which I required for my project, and I can rate myself in AWS as 3.5, Vijay.
Yeah, okay. Good. Is it possible to recover your last private key?
In general, it is not possible for recover the last private key, Vijay. And why? Because this is possible. This is because private keys are designed to be kept secret and are not stored on any centralized server or database. So, if I lost my private key, I will not able to decrypt any data that was encrypted with the corresponding public key. So here the only way to recover a lost private key is to have a backup or copy of the file. So it is recommended to always keep a backup of your private key in a secure location. Such as a password protected USB drive or a hardware wallet. And also some key management systems also offer recover mechanism that can help to recover lost key. But these systems require prior setup and configuration. So if I lost my private key and I do not have a backup, so in that case, I'll need to generate a new key pair and update any application or services that we are using the old key. Can be a time consuming process and may result in data loss if I cannot decrypt previously encrypted data. So the better way is to prevent a loss of private keys in the future. So it is important to take appropriate measures to secure secure the backup keys. So it is best to backup. So if you last recover a private key, so we can't able to recover it.
Okay. Yeah, how can you connect your issue to instant if you lost your key?
Okay. So if I lost my private key, so if I lost my private key, so I can't able to connect to using SSH. However, there may be useful solutions would be there. The first one is I can use an alternative account. So if I have an alternative account with the pseudo privileges, in that case, I may be able to use it to regain access to the instance and create a new pair. So I can do this by logging in using alternative account, adding the new public key to the authorized keys in the .ssh directory of the user account that I lost the key for, and then logging out and attempt to logging again using a new key pair. This is the one way I'll do. And another way means I create a new instance and attaching the original values. If I have an EBS backed up instance, so I can create a new instance and attach the original volume to it. So then I can then mount the volume and access the files on it, including any configurations files that may contain SSH keys. So I can copy files to the new instance and use the new key pair as well. And another, we have one more way that is using AWS System Manager sessions that I'm not that much familiar. So I'm using
Mhm.
these two ways only.
Okay. Yeah, how you can connect a private subnet with a public subnet?
So I use the Bastion host only. Bastion host is a dedicated service and that provide access to instances in a private subnet from a public subnet. So I can create a Bastion host in the public subnet, and then I'm using SSH to connect to the Bastion host, and from there connect to the instance in the private subnet.
Mm-hmm. Okay. How much yourself you can rate on Linux?
I'm having basic knowledge on Linux, so I'm using the Linux wherever possible in my cluster. So I can rate myself as 3.5.
Okay, okay, good. How many types of permissions are there? What is the CH mode?
Types of permissions.
Yeah.
Okay. In general, we have three types of permissions. First is read. It can allow users to view the contents of a file or a directory. So read. And write, what will do means user can modify the contents of file or directory, whether it can create, delete, modify files. And third one is execute. Here we can users allow to run a file as a program or accessing the contents of the directory. And we know that each file or a directory has three set of permissions. First one, one for the owner of the file or directory. Second one for the members of the group that file or belongs to. And last, all the users. And the permissions can be used by using ls-l command, so which can display the permission in the symbolic format. So to say simpler format, suppose if I give chmod 644 file name as my text dot text. This is the file. If I give the chmod 644, what way
Okay.
it does means here the 6 represents the, it has the permissions of the owner, and it has read and write. And the 4 means it represents the permissions for the members of the group, and it has read only permission only. And here next 4, what it represents means the permission from all other users, and it has read only. And this is the file name, Vijay.
Okay. May I know the command to check the running process?
To check the currently running process, I mean, we can use a ps command to check the running process. And this ps commands will provide the snapshot of the current process and their status.
Okay. Other than PS command, do you have any other command to running process?
Other than
Yeah.
okay, other than
Yeah.
ps we have the top command is the I mean, so what will it do means I can use a top command to for the continuously monitor running process and the system performance. And this top command displays the cpu memory and disk usage, as well as list of the most resources.
Okay. What is the command to check the RAM usage?
Sorry.
What is the command to check RAM usage?
RAM usage, we can use free,
Yeah.
I can use a free command to check the available and used RAM on my system. And this free command will provide the summary of the system's memory usage, including the total amount of memory used, and the amount of used memory, and the amount of free memory. If I use free in, suppose if I use free hyphen m, what will do means it can displays the total used and free memory in megabytes. And if I use g, it can displays the total used and free memory in gigabytes. And if I use free hyphen h, it can displays the total used and free memory in a human readable format. And if I use simply free means it can displays the total used and free memory in kilobytes, Vijay.
How can you rate yourself on shell scripting?
I can rate myself in shell scripting 3, 5, Vijay.
Okay, Savya. Do you have any knowledge on Ansible or Terraform?
Sorry, Vijay. As of now, I didn't get a chance to work on Ansible or Terraform, but if I get a chance, I'm eager to explore new tools as well.
Okay, Savya, good. I done with my interview. Do you have any questions for me?
Mm, I want to know my feedback so that so that it can help me to improve my technical experience, Vijay.
Mm-hmm. I will share your feedback to the HR. HR will get back to you.
Okay, thank you, Vijay.
Okay, thank you.